being given here without any action. And this is a sure way of killing KCC, Mr. Speaker. We need to have some way of killing KCC, Mr. Speaker. We need to have some serious discussion on how to make KCC function. Otherwise, we are going to have KCC going away and dying the way it died earlier. Thank you.
Chair Agriculture. Where's the Chair Agriculture? Is it cooperatives? Yes. And trade. Marian?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, it is a trade committee that handles KCC, so within the same 2 weeks, we should be able to give the statement here.
Okay. Umulher.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 442C, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations regarding a tragic explosion that occurred in Mandera County. Honorable Speaker, on 31st October 2025, 3 children were involved in an explosion following detonation of an explosive device in Alungu in Mandera County, in Lafey constituency. The incident resulted in the untimely death of a 9-year-old child while undergoing treatment, while 2 other children sustained severe injuries, including a 5-year-old child who tragically lost an eye. The heartbreaking incident was a strange object which detonated upon interaction. The devices are alleged to either have been left behind by ex-militia on training or planted by cross-border terrorists. This incident has caused immense grief and fear among residents, ordinances, and the overall safety in the region. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of Intelligence and Foreign Relations on the following. 1. A report on the circumstances surrounding the detonation of an explosive device in Alungu, Lafey constituency on 31st October 2025. 2. Immediate measures that the government is taking to support the affected families, including medical and psychological support. 3. Measures being taken to ensure the safety of the residents, including identifying, recovering, and safely disposing any other unexploded ordinances. And 4. The long-term preventative strategies that the government is putting in place to enhance community awareness and strengthen collaboration between security agencies and local administration in identifying and reporting suspicious or hazardous materials. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Tongoyo, when can you bring a response? 2 weeks?
Yes, 2 weeks.
Thank you. Next, a response to Naomi Wako's statement by Tongoyo. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, Speaker.
Sorry. Yes, Umulher. Give her the mic.
The statement is directed to Defense and National and Intelligence and Foreign Relations Committee.
Not security.
Not security.
Okay. Owen Bayer inform Defense and Foreign Relations to bring a response in 2 weeks.
Much obliged, Honorable Speaker.
Tongoyo, before you make a response, let me acknowledge Mudangari Primary School from Madhyoya in Muranga in the public gallery. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Thank you. Tongoyo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In regards to the statement being sought by the member for Marsabit County, Honorable Naomi Wako, who had sought in particular the disappearance of Mr. Galgalo Baganja Malicha, and she wanted to know investigation into the disappearance of the said person, the action being taken by the security agencies to update the family and ensure the missing person is expeditiously traced and reunited with the family, and the perpetrators of Violence Act are brought to the books and the measures put in place to ensure the safety of residents of Sololo Sub-County. Honorable Speaker, on the 31st August this year, Mr. Guyo Yacho, the chief of Galole location, reported a shooting incident at Sololo Police Station via OB number 1431, 8th of 2025. He reported that a gang of about 10 with masked faces and dressed in military gear aboard a Land Cruiser and another brownish saloon vehicle, both without registration number plates, had invaded a residential plot within Golole Center. And police officers from Sololo Sub-County visited the scene and established that a Borana male adult, Mr. Galgalo Boganja, was allegedly abducted during the incident. Further, the victim's wife, Dami Bonaya, was physically assaulted by the attackers. An assault and abduction report was booked at Sololo Police Station via OB number 639-2025, and the injured was escorted to Moyale Sub-County Hospital where she was treated and discharged in stable condition. Investigation into the matter commenced immediately, and 3 witnesses' statements were recorded, and a signal of the missing person was generated and circulated as a search of the victim began. Subsequently, an inquiry file number 4 of 2025 was opened by the DCI, Sololo Sub-County, and the preliminary investigation established that the vehicle used by the assailants could not be traced since they had no registered number plates, and the area lacked CCTV coverage, which complicated the effort to track their movements before, during, and after the incidents. Although 3 witnesses provided statements, their accounts did not clearly describe or identify the person involved, and no additional witnesses have come forward with critical information that could further assist in the investigation. And the police inquiry file, Honorable Speaker, file number 4 of 2025 remain active with ongoing efforts focusing on tracing the victim known as associates, frequent locations, and liaising with the relative and friends. And the case is still under active investigation. On the second, Honorable Speaker, so far no leads has been established regarding the whereabouts of the missing person, and the case is under investigation, and the police shall update the family on any new development concerning the whereabouts of the victim. And Honorable Speaker, on the measures being taken in the residence of the sub-county of Sololo, the government is employing several measures to enhance security in Sololo, to include intensifying both mobile and foot patrol, establishing temporary checkpoints, several measures to enhance security in Sololo, to include intensifying both mobile and foot patrol, establishing temporary checkpoints and access points to monitor the movement and intercept any highway criminal activities, and enhance surveillance to ensure quick police response, and the revitalization of the community policing committees to strengthen collaboration between community and the police, and the community engagement and public sensitization through the public barassas and consultative forum to sensitize residents on security matters. Signed by Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, EGH, Cabinet Secretary for Interior. I submit, Honorable Speaker.
Naomi Wako.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As I also thank the Chair for the response that he has given us from the Ministry. But unfortunately, Honorable Speaker, the response is not satisfactory at all, because even after that, 2 or 3 other people have been abducted. To say that they have not even been able to trace the vehicle and also to trace the abductors. So I want to plead that the investigation goes on and they give it proper attention. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Speaker, and as I indicated in the statement, we'll keep giving the update to the family whenever we get.
Professor Guyo Jaldeza, Tongoyo, you have a statement ready?
Yes, I do, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I need your indulgence. This statement was sought before. Actually, we break for recess. and I didn't respond to, and the member actually had indicated that he will prefer to have the committee visit the area for fact-finding, and we had actually prioritized. We know you just reported today, and we are trying to prioritize to have the committee visit the area as a matter of fact-finding.
The member came before the committee?
We had talked with him.
Okay. Professor, is that...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the chair is a bit confused because we raised the question here, though we talked, and I had appealed that the statement which I got today, we had agreed that the committee needs to visit the area to verify for themselves. I also shared with him some photographs of the act of arson by the police. And it's only good that they visit the site and come to know.
So to cut a long story short, Professor, you want them to visit the site?
Exactly.
Engage with them, then they visit, then thereafter they bring a comprehensive statement.
Thank you, Speaker.
Okay, next order.
Order number 8, the Public Participation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 44 of 2025, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the conduct of public participation to give effect to the constitutional principle of participation of the people enshrined in Articles 10.2, 69.1d, 118, 184.1c, 196, 201a, and 232.1d of the Constitution and for connected purposes.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 9, exceptional motion, tributes of the House. Mover to reply.
Honorable members, before the mover replies, we had agreed in House Business Committee that we give 3 members on either side, or at least 6 members for that matter. Thereafter, we'll call Honorable Junet Mohammed to reply. Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, just so that I know how I organize my thoughts, how many minutes do we have?
You have 5.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving us this opportunity because we didn't have the opportunity the last time. But I want to indicate that it's very difficult to talk of Baba in the past tense, though we know that he is mortal and we knew that he would die at some point.
Hold on, Millie. There's a point of order from Tongoyo. What is it?
Honorable Speaker, I'm sorry for interrupting. It is not related to what he's saying, but I just want to follow up to what the professor wanted. Having seen the complicity of what is happening in Moele, I need your indulgence, Speaker. I think probably we need to have a joint visit together, our committee and the Committee of Mining, because this is the miners and probably even trade.
Write to my office, I'll consider. Go on, Millie.
Mr. Speaker, Baba was larger than life, and it's a reason that it's very difficult to imagine his demise. And Mr. Speaker, when I speak with very many people, you discover that they have not come to terms with the fact that Baba is no more. Mr. Speaker, I have engaged with several politicians and leaders, even those who are vehemently opposed him in the past. But very interestingly, you find that Baba had such a big impact in their political life. He held the hands of many people. Mr. Speaker, Baba embodied the values that are dear to me and to many Kenyans. He embodied justice, equality, human rights, non-discrimination, inclusion, including ethnic inclusion, and also the inclusion of women, youth, and marginalized, and also differently abled persons. Mr. Speaker, his inclusive nature sometimes played out even against his own ethnic community. Mr. Speaker, in this House I've seen times when Baba has actually sacrificed a qualified Luo in order to include a minority, Mr. Speaker. I know, for instance, without naming names, that in the past, the election body, Mr. Speaker, that actually did happen. Mr. Speaker, some young people have seen who have largely misunderstood Baba and have been talking against Baba. But, Mr. Speaker, in due season, they will actually learn. When our politics unfolds, they will learn that Baba held a significant part in the politics of this country. And one day they will understand the sacrifices that he made that many of us have never made and we're not likely to make. Mr. Speaker, Baba also invested in the mentorship of people with potential, a fact that was even recently acknowledged by Wamunyoro, even though he also had to throw a jibe against other members of parliament, which is unfortunate. But he did acknowledge that Baba identified potential in people like me, a very good lawyer, a very good politician. I didn't know my potential until Baba brought me here with a nomination. So, bad girl, Mr. Speaker, as a member is shouting. I am a beneficiary of his benevolence, and so are many people here. Mr. Speaker, Baba guided me through very difficult political challenges, and as politicians, we at times weather great storms that are known to many, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, at one time during my first term in office, the swords and daggers that were drawn against me were too heavy, Mr. Speaker, that are actually unknown to many people, wrote a letter of resignation as a member of Parliament of Mbita. Mr. Speaker, I took my letter of resignation to Baba. And Baba spoke to me and held my hand as a daughter and talked to me and guided me and told me that he believes in my ability to fight those battles. And Mr. Speaker, I am serving my 4th term because Baba held my hands even in those difficult moments. Mr. Speaker, I also wish to indicate that I am very happy and glad that I got the opportunity to say goodbye to Baba 2 days before he left. And we know that he's not coming back again. And I'm glad that his best song also happens to be my mother's best song, the Jamaican song. Mr. Speaker, each of us has a purpose, a God-given purpose in life. Baba knew his purpose. He lived his purpose. He served his purpose. What about us? Even when we are politicians here in the House. And I'm glad at the way Baba was celebrated, not only in Kenya, but globally. And for the people who doubted who Baba was, I can tell you for a fact that in our lifetime, no other leader will ever be celebrated the way Baba was celebrated. Joey. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Jen Kihara.
Mr. Speaker, I rise on the same tone of saying that Baba was a great man. May he rest well. I happened to serve in this house with Baba in the 9th Parliament, with you, Mr. Speaker. So at least I have that advantage of knowing him. But Mr. Speaker, Baba will be remembered for many things, for his unwavering commitment to democracy and human rights. He was selfless and a great patriot. Baba was instrumental at the start of my politics. Mr. Speaker, you remember the NARC movement when my husband was in the hospital and I'm the one who was campaigning. I went to Mwenge House. I told the officials there that I need somebody to come to Naivasha and campaign for my husband. Because we had a Safina candidate who was strong and my husband was also strong. we realized we were going to split that vote. So Baba came and did 2 meetings that were so great, which changed the tide. Mr. Speaker, when it was my turn to be elected in the by-election, Mama Ida Odiga came to campaign for me. She brought a whole battery of women politicians to campaign for me. So what I remember him for is that our house or our family owe him a lot. Mr. Speaker, when my husband's body was coming from South Africa, it was only Baba who came to meet the body. And he made sure that my husband's body did not go to the cargo terminal, but the passenger's terminal. That's where he received the body. Mr. Speaker, at the funeral, Baba was available to come for my husband's funeral. So I remember him for many things. May he rest well. He has worked so hard. And like Honorable Millie says, I don't think there is any leader who has been buried with dignity the way Baba has been buried. I was here when the founding father died. I've been around when we have lost those great men, but none of them has been buried the way Baba has been buried. So may I give my condolences to the family of Baba, ODM fraternity, and all Kenyans for the respect they showed that great statement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Robert Mbui.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also take this opportunity to also pay tribute to the late Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, Kenya's biggest defender of human rights and the rule of law. Mr. Speaker, I got the news of Baba's passage when I was in London with my party leader. We had gone to meet a few Kenyans out there, and he quickly cut short his trip and came back. I remained because of the engagements that were there, but also had opportunity to mourn him and celebrate his life with Kenyans in London, in a place called Thatched House. So I did what I could by bringing together the Kenyans there. But Mr. Speaker, I was with Baba in 2022 in Washington, D.C., just before the last election. And when I got there with him, he had to also cut short his trip to come back because the late Honorable His Excellency Mwai Kibaki had passed on. And so this was the second time I was out with a prominent leader in this country, and then somebody passed on. And I'm even scared now of traveling, Mr. Speaker, because, I mean, it really touched me, because I was wondering what happened. I traveled with Baba, Kibaki passed on. I traveled with Kalonzo, Baba passes on. So I've also been asking for prayer so that it doesn't affect me. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that many people have eulogized Baba and know him from maybe what they read in books. Because Baba, is battled, detention without trial. He's battled bullets. He's battled tear gas. But, Mr. Speaker, I am one of those that has actually been in the trenches with Baba. For the last time, since I was elected from 2013, I have been with Baba. We've supported him 2013, 2017, 2022. And, Mr. Speaker, I'm actually a living casualty. And I have a permanent injury, that I achieved or I got when I was in the trenches with Baba. So when I eulogize Baba, I'm eulogizing someone that I believed in, someone that I know had the interest of Kenyans at heart and fought so that Kenya can be a better place. Mr. Speaker, in the remembrance of Baba, the Wipe Up Patriotic Front that I represent in the House and the community of elders from where I come from, which is Mount Kenya South, that is Lower Eastern, we will be actually going to pay our tributes to the family and the family of Baba on Thursday this week. And Mr. Speaker, this is because when we had the funeral, my party leader could not get enough time to eulogize a person that he has stood with for the longest time. I mean, 3 political seasons. And so he got like a minute or two, and the deputy president was pushing him and telling him, you have to hurry up, and he wasn't able to do what he wanted to do. So we are going to go there on Thursday so that we can pay proper tribute. But Mr. Speaker, I just want to say that in remembrance of Baba, I want to caution those that keep talking about Baba and having negative connotations. They are leaders, and I will start with the governor of Nyeri. Mr. Speaker, I was not happy when I heard the comments that the governor of Nyeri made, because the governor of Nyeri implied that it was a positive thing for Baba to have died. That is a shameful act, and that is something that we condemn in the strongest possible terms. Mr. Speaker, I've also had another leader from Sugoi who recently said that, now going into the next election, he has no competition because Baba has passed on. That one is also shameful and cannot be condoned. So, Mr. Speaker, as we lay this great leader to rest, let us caution leaders to be careful the things they say, because Baba stood for justice, Baba stood for fairness. And Mr. Speaker, some of those that have been trampling and fighting Baba, even when his body was brought, they were still shooting our children. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to say, long live the spirit of Baba.
Tongoyo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to pay our tributes to a great leader ever lived. I could not get the opportunity last time because of what was happening in town. And Honorable Speaker, it is with the profound respect and heartfelt emotion that I rise to pay the tribute to a touring statesman, a Pan-Africanist, a gallant son of the Kenyan, and a symbol of resilience, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Raila's life has been a long and courageous journey in the pursuit of justice, democracy, equality for all Kenyans. From the dark days of detention to the bright dawns of reform, he remained steadfast, never losing faith in the dream of a better Kenya he believed in. For us in Narok, and indeed across the Marland, Raila Odinga stood as a friend and an ally. He championed devolution, inclusivity, and empowerment of marginalized communities, ensuring that every Kenyan, no matter their origin, tribe, or faith, had a seat at the table of national development. His voice echoed the cry of the ordinary citizens, and his vision embraced the unity of our great republic. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Raila Odinga taught us that leadership is not about power, but about service. That patriotism is not in words, but in action. And that peace, even after the fierce political storm, remains the highest gift we can offer to our children. As we celebrate his enduring legacy, may we honor him not only with our words, but with our continued commitment to the ideals he stood for. And on behalf of the people of the Narok West and Narok Omagh, we convey our deepest respect and gratitude, and may his example continue to guide us. May his spirit of courage and unity forever live in our hearts. May God bless this family, and God bless the Republic of Kenya. And Honorable Speaker, it's true, and I was reading today, I think in some of the print media, saying that even in his last resting place, Raila may continue even to influence the politics of Kenya. And I'm sure that probably in our lifetime, we may not get a leader like him. And just want to pray that we all, some of us who are alive, we emulate the good deeds that Raila taught us. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Maungu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity, at least to pay tribute to an icon that rested. It was not, I wasn't fortunate to give my eulogies last time, but thank you for that opportunity. Mr. Speaker, the man we are talking about today was a great man, a man that lived in a lifetime. And one thing that came out clearly was that this is a man that was celebrated across the political divide. Them that looked at him as dangerous celebrated him. Them that celebrated him, Mr. Speaker, did actually celebrate him more. So I must say that before I joined politics, I used to admire the person of Raila Amolo Odinga. I used to admire the way he used to connect with people. I admired the way he fought for this country and believed in a better Kenya. I admired a man who, Mr. Speaker, was very forgiving. And upon coming into Parliament and coming into politics, I got to know him much better. He's a man that was full of love, a man that actually wanted the best for this country, Mr. Speaker. Many of the gains we celebrate today as a country, and all this can never be talked about without mentioning the name of one, Raila Amolo Odinga. Mr. Speaker, in Luanda, where I represent, majority of the people there really loved the great man that we lost. And his demise was a great blow to my people and the great people of this country, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I must say that as my minority leader, Whip, said, Mr. Speaker, maybe in our lifetime, we may not witness a man who will be celebrated, a man who will be recalled, such as the one we talked about, Mr. Speaker. In his lifetime, Mr. Speaker, the late Raila Amolo Odinga fought poverty, talked about that it's all about poverty, the enemy of the people. He talked about, Mr. Speaker, bad governance. Mr. Speaker, he talked about corruption as an ill that ate our country, Mr. Speaker. And I believe that he may have gone, but the crown lives on, Mr. Speaker, that as we remain, we should remember to fight the very things that he stood for, Mr. Speaker. Tribalism has been a great cancer in this country, Mr. Speaker. As leaders of the present moment, we should be able to come forward and fight tribalism. Mr. Speaker, corruption is an equally big matter that Mzee Raila Amolo Odinga really fought. And as leaders, we must be able to live that dream. We must be able to propagate that dream and ensure that in our spaces, in our areas, Mr. Speaker, we are able to fight corruption. Mr. Speaker, this is a man that looked at Kenya as a country full of love. I look at the last arrangement that he had with His Excellency the President, Mr. Speaker. No one ever believed, no one ever thought, even understood what idea Mzee Raila Amolo Odinga had. But from what we can see, Mr. Speaker, he actually kind of had a premonition that Kenya was in turmoil and needed to come together. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, on my own behalf and that of the great people of Rwanda, Mr. Speaker, I must say that we shall forever miss Mzee. We shall forever be able to carry on his name because he actually fought of this country in the right way. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Wamshomba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to join my colleagues to speak about our fallen hero, our father, the father of the nation for generation. And Mr. Speaker, it is very unfortunate that when I was growing up as a young girl, I grew up knowing Raila Odinga as a politically bad man. We were told stories about him, narratives around his life, and we were made to believe that he was a very bad man. Luckily, Mr. Speaker, when I was elected in last parliament in this house, through my interaction with the very many leaders in this house, like the Honorable Junet Mohammed and the Honorable Millie Odhiambo, when we formed a coalition around BBI, an initiative around BBI, I got an opportunity to share a table with Baba. I remember that one very evening when he hosted me in Karen over a drink to demystify the BBI narratives. And he asked me a question about my one man, 1 shilling push within the BBI. To my shock, Mr. Speaker, I did not know that Baba was that very understanding man. He led me his ear, listened to me, expounded his opinion, swayed my opinion, and made friendship with this little girl from Githunguri. And from that day on, I was very proud to even have Baba's phone number saved on my phone. I want to speak about how we package political narratives, especially for us, the political class. We have demonized people who don't deserve to be demonized. We have branded people the wrong tags who don't deserve to be given such tags. I know as I speak, there are so many people wondering, is this the same Wamushomba speaking well about Baba? When we campaigned around Baba's personality to win votes, I think it's time. Baba's story should teach us how we should be speaking politically, even when we are competing for votes. Politics is not worth tarnishing people's images, targeting people's families, and ruining people's social image. As Baba rests, this is a challenge to the political class, I included. Politics is a game, but life is a process. Rest in peace, Baba. And life is sacred. Thank you.
Junet, you have 20 minutes. If you will not exhaust your 20 minutes, you can donate to those who are raising their hands.
Mr. Speaker, I have a statement to read, but I can donate 2 minutes to Rene and 2 minutes to Peter Masara and 2 minutes to Mawate. 6 minutes. The rest I need to.
Can you tell me the names again? First 2 minutes to
Rene Mayaka, Peter Masara, Mawade. Those are 6 minutes, and Bensouda 2 minutes. Kagushia tomorrow.
Okay. Mayaka, 2 minutes. Immediately thereafter, Masara, 2 minutes. Mawade, 2 minutes. Bensouda, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. And
that means you are left with 12 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and to my minority leader as well for this opportunity. Let me take this opportunity to express my sincere condolences to the family of the Right Honorable Prime Minister, to also just salute the man who, because of him, I have an opportunity to even stand on this floor, because he held my hand, he withered and watered my potential as a young woman in politics. And Honorable Speaker, also on behalf of all the daughters of Raila in the entire country, and the young members of ODM and the members of Nyamira, to also pass my condolences and appreciate the man that we called Baba, because Baba, Honorable Speaker, was not just a political icon. He was my political father, he was my mentor, and is the reason why I have the strength to be able to serve in a political space. And Honorable Speaker, I just want to say, as I said once before in this House, that from 2018, I have worn 2 wristbands in my hand. One that is Kenya, and the other one a blue one that is indicated Daughters of Raila, in honor of a man that gave me the opportunity to have a political career. Thank you.
Professor Anna Masara. Take heart. Give Honorable Masara 2 minutes, Masara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, according to us, we mourn for 40 days, but we will mourn Raila forever and ever. But personally, I'm celebrating Raila Amolo Odinga, because without him, I would have not been where I am today. My leadership style, I borrowed from him. When I was in high school, and people were fighting for multi-party democracy, there was a day the late Jaramogi was to visit Godokwer, and I was in Mugori Boys, and all roads were blocked. Raila himself came to Migori Boys and gave us instruction. We went through what he told us, and Jaramogi went to Godokwer. Thereafter, I was inspired with the courage he had, and throughout his entire life, Mr. Speaker, I've been a follower of Raila Amolo Odinga. When I got the message of his death, I told my family that Kenya will never be the same again. Generation and generation will live. They'll call and talk about Raila. Unfortunately, as a human, he will not be there, but the spirit will live forever. Whatever he has done to this country, let us, those who are still in leadership, pursue the spirit of devolution, the spirit of inclusivity. And finally, Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto. What he did to us, especially followers of Raila, we will never forget. How I wish those who were members of Azimio take a scenario if we were on the street, Raila died in India, what will have happened? We thank.
Your 2 minutes are over. Mawathe.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and Minority Leader, for giving me an opportunity today to talk about Baba. Baba, we started with Baba a long time ago while I was still in Dallas, Texas. He would come to Dallas, and we would accompany him to Houston, Texas, where we would also meet with the likes of Dacho Wongudu, Ocho, and the rest, and all the way to Minnesota, doing what politicians are supposed to do, fight for the people. All these rights that we are enjoying, supposed to be 2 minutes. All these rights that we are enjoying are thanks to Baba. The multi-party that we are enjoying right now, the freedom of speech, freedom to assemble. I remember when Baba was coming back from a foreign trip, and Baba, the likes of Babu Owino, Aladwa, and Simba Arati, we got together and Baba was welcomed home in a very, very nice way. Baba, our Baba, the Baba that we supported from 2013, 2017, and 2022.
Are his 2 minutes over? Your time is up. Give him 1 minute.
Hey, Baba. Anyway, this is the person that we supported for, and I voted for in 2013, in 2017, in 2022, deputized by my party leader, Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Baba will not be forgotten. He knows how to fight for the people's rights. I remember when we went to IBC, we sat down on the tarmac, and we were being mocked by the people who thought that the people should have less rights than we should. Even during the swearing in, I remember Simba Arati and I and Babu we got together the day before, and we will really miss Baba. Baba, we will forever miss you. Asante.
Bensouda.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. May His Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga rest in peace. Raila Amolo Odinga was God sent. When I come to my political limelight, when nominations were held, as I was campaigning, when I resigned to be the CC for roads in Kisumu County, it was hardly 2 years that I left Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology. I was told that I'm wasting time. That is the politicians that we have today. Your certificate for nomination is gone. You wait. We shall see where to put you. Carelessly narrated to me. Went into my nerves. I looked for Baba. I traveled up to Jof, where he was addressing all lecturers of all universities in this country. I shared with Baba my heart in his ear, and he gave me a hearing. Jacob told me, who has given them the certificate? Go and campaign. I'm behind you. I campaigned using one pickup as people laughed at me around in Homa Bay County, as people were celebrating in other quarters. I was determined by his word, Honorable Speaker. I was not given a direct ticket in Homa Bay County. I want to confidently put it in Hansard that I was taken through nomination and people voted for me. Honorable Speaker, it even pains me that even the day that the result was to be delayed, I was thoroughly tear-gassed, but I said I would leave in the...
Time up, Mama Bensouda. Thank you. You are off Hansard.
I would like to say, Honorable Speaker, as politicians of today, we must be resilient. We must be focused. We must be truly there for the people of Kenya. We must put tribalism aside. We must be honest. We must be transparent. We must nurture and mentor the young ones. We must solidly move on as leaders of this country without betrayal. Honorable Speaker, I will have time to mourn Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. May his soul rest in eternal peace. He remains in my heart forever. Honorable Speaker, I thank you so much. I thank you so much. Joey! Joey! Joey!
Thank you. Jeanette.
I beg to reply on the motion that was tabled before the House. Motion to eulogize my leader, my departed leader, the Right Honorable former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. Honorable Speaker, I thank you for granting me the opportunity to pay tribute to one of the greatest sons of our Republic, the late Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. At the outset, Mr. Speaker, allow me to acknowledge the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, the Deputy President, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Wetangula, and members of both houses, Mr. Speaker, and indeed the entire nation who joined us as a party in mourning and celebrating a man whose life defined courage, sacrifice, and patriotism. Honorable Speaker, Kenya continues to stand united in grief. We have lost a statesman, a reformer, and one of the foremost architects of our democratic journey, Raila Amolo Odinga, who was not merely a political leader, he was a movement, a vision, and a symbol of Kenya's enduring quest for justice and equality, Mr. Speaker. His story is interwoven with the soul of our nation, from the struggle for multi-party democracy to the birth of devolution, from the fight for electoral justice to the pursuit of national unity. Raila's journey was one of the extraordinary sacrifice, from the dark dungeon of political detention to the bright halls of leadership. He endured suffering, persecution, and humiliation, yet he never surrendered his belief in a better Kenya. He stood firm when it was dangerous to do so, and gave a voice to the voiceless when silence would have been safer, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, to many, he was Baba, the father of democracy. To me, the late Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga was more than a leader. He was a friend, a mentor, a father figure, a man whose wisdom shaped my political journey and whose courage inspired my convictions. He guided me with patience, challenged me to think beyond self, and taught me that leadership in service anchored in integrity and compassion. He was the mentor who believed in me when I doubted myself, the father figure who offered guidance with kindness, and the friend who stood with me in both triumph and trial. His counsel was steady, his humor was disarming, and his faith in people unwavering. Honorable Speaker, sir, Raila Odinga believed that leadership is not about privilege, but about purpose, not about position, but about service. His politics transcended tribe and party. He envisioned a Kenya where every citizen, regardless of background, could find dignity, opportunity, and belonging, Mr. Speaker. That I can testify, Mr. Speaker. Through his advocacy for devolution, he empowered communities and brought government closer to the people. Through his lifelong commitment to dialogue, epitomized by the famous handshake and currently the broad-based government arrangement, he reminded us that peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of justice and reconciliation. He taught us that unity is not weakness, but statesmanship. Mr. Speaker, sir, to millions of Kenyans, he was simply Baba, a father not only to his family, but to generations who drew hope and courage from his resilience. Whether in Kibra, Kisumu, Garissa, or Turkana, he connected with ordinary citizens with humility and sincerity. He championed the struggle of workers, farmers, and the youth, standing fiercely for the marginalized and forgotten. His dream was a Kenya that works for all his children, regardless of tribe, region, or station in life. Honorable Speaker, to the youth of this nation, Raila Amolo Odinga was more than a leader. He was an idea that truth must be spoken to power, that the fight for justice never ends, that Kenya can and must be better. His life challenges us in his house and beyond to rise above partisanship and continue building the Kenya he envisioned, or united, prosperous, and free. Mr. Speaker, sir, we thank Mama Aida Odinga, his children, the entire Odinga family, for sharing him with the nation and for standing steadfastly beside him through the storms of history. His sacrifices was not his alone. He bore them with grace and dignity. As we continue to mourn his passing, let us also rise to the challenge he leaves behind to make Kenya a nation anchored on justice, unity, and truth. Let us move forward with the courage, compassion, and conviction that Raila Odinga so valiantly exemplified. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga have departed from our sight, but his dream for Kenya will never die. His legacy will forever echo in these chambers, in the streets where the people once chanted his name, and in the hearts of all who believe in freedom, justice, and equality. Fare thee well, Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, Baba, the people's president, the father of democracy, and the external flame of Kenyans' conscience. Mr. Speaker, I conclude by saying that, Mr. Speaker, we have lost a leader, a friend, who was also your friend. Mr. Speaker, you have worked with Raila. I can testify that. You were with him many, many years in politics, but you have partnered majorly in the elections of 2013. You have partnered with him in the election of 2017, Mr. Speaker, and I know you are very close to him also. I used to find...
We always watched Arsenal together.
I'm coming to that, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I have joined you people many times in restaurants in Karen and some other places, watching together the Arsenal team playing, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, this was a very friendly man. This was a man who did not address people because they are from this community or that community. He used to keep everyone close because he's a Kenyan. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to speak about my journey with him. You know, Mr. Speaker, where I came from, and you know when I visited you in Malakisi, how I was looking like and how I look like today, Mr. Speaker. If you put those photos next to each other, you know. Mr. Speaker. I came to visit you at your constituency that time. You were the Minister of Foreign Affairs or something, I can remember something like that. And I spent the night with you at your home. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a man who has molded many political, lives, Mr. Speaker. Myself, Mr. Speaker, when I interacted with Honorable Raila Odinga was in the year 2003. And I became a mayor, I wanted to become an MP. Honorable Karoli was a very powerful man in his office, Mr. Speaker, in 2013. He almost denied me a ticket. If it was not Baba, I would not have been in this parliament, Mr. Speaker. Very powerful man, Mr. Speaker, by then, Mr. Speaker. He almost denied me. But Baba stood with me, Mr. Speaker, and said, this is the young man who should be the member of parliament for Suna East, Mr. Speaker. No, there's no correction there, Mr. Speaker. We know what happened.
You are either on a point of order or nothing.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker.
What is your point of order, Carol?
Honorable Speaker, it is true I was very powerful, but I was very passionate about my work. The information the Honorable Member is sharing is inaccurate. He actually lost the nomination. I have an affidavit sworn by none other than the Secretary General of the party then, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, swearing he was not our candidate. That is the correct position.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, now that Honorable Karoli wants clarification, I was running against his uncle, Mr. Speaker, who was 8 years old. And when I defeated him, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Karoli brought family issues now to ODM issues, Mr. Speaker. And I defeated him because even in the subsequent election, that was in the nomination. In the real election now, the uncle took another party ticket, another party. And I defeated him in the general election, Mr. Speaker. If he was so popular, he would have won, Mr. Speaker, that. But anyway, Mr. Speaker, that is not what brought us today here.
We'll leave it there.
We'll leave it there.
Order.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Mr. Speaker, it is on record that Honorable Karolias, in his own words, accepted he was a very powerful man. So that confirms the sufferings that I went through his hands, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, let us mourn Baba. Let us mourn Baba because he was a man who stood for justice. And I can confirm here, if it was not him, I would not have been given the ODM ticket. That is the truth. He stood with me. He said, I know. In fact, they brought him a propaganda. How powerful people were in his office. They went and brought a report that if I am given the ODM ticket, mosques will be burnt, Somalis will be evicted from Bigori. He showed me the report. This is what my officers and my officers are giving me. I told him, Your Excellency, Mr. Prime Minister, you remember I have been the mayor for 10 years. How comes mosques have not been burnt? How come Somalis have not been evicted? Mr. Speaker, that is how Baba was. That is how firm he can stand with the minorities and people who are...
Order, Karoli.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, you know Karoli? Mr. Speaker, Karoli comes from Homa Bay.
Eulogize Baba.
We are eulogizing Baba. Karoli comes from Homa Bay, I come from Bigori. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude.
Order.
Let me conclude. Let me conclude. Let me conclude. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude.
Karoli. Order. Order, Karoli Omonde. Order. Order. Order, Karoli Omonde. Order, Karoli Omonde. Order, Karoli, you are being disorderly. Order. Order, Karoli Omonde. Order. We are eulogizing a great man. Order, Karoli Omonde. And the two of you, order, the two of you, Karoli and Junet, yours truly he has mentored you. Karoli, you know, you worked for me, and you are a decent young man. Junet, you know you have been my friend from 2007. You are a decent young man. Maintain that decency as we eulogize Baba. And no side shows. And the death of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga should not raise collateral passions on the floor of the House. Whatever there is between your neighboring counties, keep it out there. Yes.
I can conclude, because I was just narrating history,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, but I
Yes.
conclude by saying that we have lost a great man, Mr. Speaker. May the Lord put his soul in eternal rest, Mr. Speaker. We will
Amen.
miss him, and we will remember him, and his spirits will live with us for many, many years to come, Mr. Speaker. And for those whom he has wronged, forgive him, please. Because every human being is to err. And for those who committed crimes against him also who are here now, please return if there's anything you have done to his family or to himself. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
You beg to move.
I beg to
you
reply,
beg to
Mr.
reply,
Speaker.
sorry.
I beg to reply, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Mureo, sorry, you have no chance. Order. First, what you asked me you want to do is of little relevance to this eulogy. You said you want to recite Harry Belafonte's Jamaica farewell. Order. Order. This is a House of Parliament, Millie. Order. Besides, you have already spoken to this motion. Honorable Mureo, everybody knows Harry Belafonte's song that Raila liked. And if you don't know, Harry Belafonte was a personal friend of mine. Harry Belafonte was the husband of the great Miriam Makeba. And Harry Belafonte was a great Jamaican that we all know and respect. You are reciting the song here does not invent anything. Let me now put the question at order number 9, which is that following the presidential proclamation issued on 15 October 2025, regarding the passing on of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga AGH, the former Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya, yes, then EGH, now CGH, posthumously, the former Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya, and pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 259D1, the tributes of this House be recorded in honor of the late former Prime Minister's contribution in this House, his selfless service to the Republic and the continent of Africa, and for his role in promoting democracy, peace, and stability in Kenya and the region. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it, and I direct that the additional proceedings of this afternoon, and I direct further that you expunge the exchanges between Junet and Carol Omondi from the Hansard, be prepared and be put as an addendum to the Hansard record that I gave to Mama Ida at the funeral in Bondo, so that we can be able to give the leadership, Junet and Millie, the updated record to present to Mama Ida. Make sure you expunge the trivialities that were seen here between Carol Omondi and Junet Mohammed as to who was powerful, as to who was manipulating tickets, as to who was putting up an angle for a candidate, and all those have little to do with the stature of Raila Amolo Odinga.
Next order.
Order number 10, motion, consideration of 10 regulations relating to the petroleum sector.
Gishimu, order, Millie, order. Gishimu, go on.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Delegated Registration on its consideration of 10 sets of regulations relating to petroleum sector laid on the table of the House Thursday, 16th October 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 18 of the Statutory Instruments Act, Cap 2A, and standing under 210 4B, announce in entirety the following regulations. 1, the Petroleum Business Licensing and Petroleum Logistics Facility Construction Permit Regulations 2025, legal notice number 95 of 2025. 2, the Petroleum Licensing or Petroleum Road Transportation Business Regulations 2025, legal notice number 96 of 2025. 3, the Petroleum Operating of Common Petroleum Facilities Regulations 2025, legal notice number 97 of 2025. 4, the Petroleum Information Statistics Regulations 2025, legal notice number 98 of 2025. 5, the Petroleum Lubricants Facility Construction and Licensing Regulations 2025, legal notice number 99 of 2025. 6, the Petroleum Retail Dispensing Site Construction and Licensing Regulations 2025, legal notice number 100 of 2025. 7, the Petroleum Liquefied Petroleum Gas Regulations 2025, legal notice number 101 of 2025. 8, the Energy Petroleum Information and Statistics Revocation Regulations 2025, legal notice number 102 of 2025. 9, the Energy Retail Facility Construction and Licensing Revocation Regulations 2025, legal notice number 102 of 2025. And 10, the Petroleum Products Quality Management Regulation 2025, legal notice number 104 of 2025. For failure, the reason is for failure to comply with the Statutory Instruments Act of Cap 2A. Honorable Speaker, this is a very straightforward motion because the only reason that the committee is seeking to have these regulations nullified is because they offend the provisions of Section 11, subsection 1 of the Statutory Instruments Act, Cap 2A, which provision, Honorable Speaker, require that a cabinet secretary in charge of statutory regulatory making authority shall submit regulation upon publication within 7 sitting days before the responsible clerk for tabling in Parliament. So these regulations, Honorable Speaker, were all these regulations were published on the 30th May 2025, and they were submitted before the clerk of the National Assembly on the 11th July 2025, way beyond the requisite time of the 7 sitting days. So, Honorable Speaker, while the Committee on Delegated Registration is also mandated to look at the matters, public participation, the compliance with the Constitution and the Parent Act, the committee did not delve into those considerations because actually these regulations were brought before the House out of time. So that is the only reason, and I don't want to belabor because the committee has no powers to enlarge time within which to allow the regulation to be tabled before Parliament. Honorable Speaker, without belaboring the point, I beg to move, and I now call upon Honorable Member for Kadhiani and the Deputy Minority Leader, Honorable Robert Mbui, to second. Honorable Speaker.
He looks surprised, but member for Kathiani.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, I rise to second this motion. Madam Speaker, when dealing with the regulations, there is quite a lot of considerations that the Committee of Delegated Legislation makes. Madam Speaker, first and foremost, we always make sure that the regulations are constitutionally correct by checking them against our Constitution of Kenya 2010. We also check the regulations to make sure whether they are also they are aligned to the parent act. Madam Speaker, we also check the timelines because the Statutory Instruments Act has got timelines within which regulations are to be brought. We check whether there was enough public participation done when these regulations were being created. So basically, there's a lot of things that the Committee of Delegated Legislation checks. But some of the breaches, Madam Speaker, are things that some of the issues are things that could be debated between the committee and the regulatory making authority. But, Madam Speaker, there are some that are totally incurable. For example, in the matter of these particular regulations, Madam Speaker, they were presented out of time. So there was absolutely nothing that the committee could do. There was not even point of discussion. There was not even point of debate. There was not even point of the CS coming to make a presentation to the committee, because the fact that it was established that they were brought to the House outside the timelines that are provided in the Statutory Instruments Act, then therefore basically they were incurable. So, Madam Speaker, for that reason is why the committee made a decision that they must be annulled, all of them in entirety. Madam Speaker, the executive has to respect the rule of law, because when statutory instruments are being made, they must know that there is a law that this House must follow in order to deal with any statutory instrument. And that is why you find recently we had a problem with the CS for Treasury, because he makes circulars that have effect of law, and basically by strict reading of the Statutory Instruments Act are actually regulations, and then purports to be able to implement them without even a care about what this House thinks. And Madam Speaker, he makes even he makes a circular that contradicts the parent act, the one we call the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. So, Madam Speaker, this is something that the executive has to stop doing, because you must respect the rule of law. These are the things that our late Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga stood for. These are the things that members have been talking about since his passage. And so we must ask the executive to be careful, not to present things out of line, not to go against the law. Madam Speaker, today morning as a committee, and I'm speaking this as I conclude, we were to meet with the CS for education. And Madam Speaker, it is also about the same issue of circulars. Now, Madam Speaker, when a circular is given, and that circular has effect of law, it contradicts Article 94(5) of the Constitution, which, Madam Speaker, allow me to read, says, no person or body other than Parliament has the power to make provision having the force of law in Kenya, except under authority conferred by the Constitution or by legislation. So, Madam Speaker, I want to say that the executive must understand respect is two-way. We respect the executive, but they also have to respect the House. So with those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I second.
Very well. Honourable members, I therefore propose the question that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of 10 sets of regulations relating to the petroleum sector, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 16th October 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 18 of the Statutory Instruments Act, Cap 2A, and Standing Order 210(4)B, annuls in its entirety the following regulations. Number one, the Petroleum Business Licensing and Petroleum Logistics Facility Construction Permit Regulations, legal notice number 95 of 2025. Number 2, the petroleum licensing of petroleum road transportation business regulations, legal notice number 98 of 2025. Number 3, the petroleum operating of common petroleum facilities regulations, legal notice number 97 of 2025. Number 4, the petroleum information and statistics regulations, legal notice number 98 of 2025. Number 5, the petroleum lubricants facility construction and licensing regulations, legal notice number 99 of 2025. Number 6, the petroleum retail dispensing site construction and licensing regulations, legal notice number 100 of 2025. Number 7, the petroleum liquefied petroleum gas regulations, legal notice number 101 of 2025. Number 8, the energy petroleum information and statistics revocation regulations, legal notice number 102 of 2025. Number 9, the energy retail facility construction and licensing revocation regulations, legal notice number 103 of 2025. And finally, the petroleum products quality management regulations, legal notice number 104 of 2025. Honorable Sunkuli.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, in support of this motion, I just want to urge the House to nullify these regulations. When these regulations were presented before our committee, there were two problems. One is that they were actually dead on arrival because they were not presented within the time that is required under the Statutory Instruments Act. So we did not open the regulations to actually look into them. And unfortunately, Madam Speaker, it seems that the executive wanted these regulations to pass by a fraction of time. Because if by tomorrow, actually, these regulations stand, they'll have the force of law without Parliament considering them. So it is very crucial that we actually reject them today so that the executive can republish them and come and defend them within the given time. Madam Speaker, I support.
Very well. Honorable members, I see some members who have cards on, but they are not in the House. Sanei, Wajir North, Yusuf Hassan, Honorable Ngusia, CNN. Are you willing to speak on this one? If not, Honorable Kagusha, Karoli.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. My contribution will not be about the procedural malfeasance that has been committed here or the contents of the regulations, but to ask a question that as a House, when a body that is entrusted under the laws made by this House to make regulations deliberately fails to submit them to this House within the statutory timelines, so that we can look at them. And those regulations, of course, we believe were not made in vain. There must have been some purpose or reasons behind them, raison d'etre, for the regulations, which now then cannot be achieved. Should we just annul, or should we as a House go further and reprimand? What action should we take so that this does not become a routine practice among executive agencies that we have entrusted to make subsidiary legislation on behalf of this House? I think we should not just annul and leave it there. We should annul and take some further action. Because we need to find out, why didn't they submit the regulations within the statutory timeline of 7 days? Why did they wait for 15 days? If they were made these regulations to achieve certain policy objectives. So I think there's a more fundamental question, just other than annulling as a matter of procedure. Because sometimes regulations are made to achieve certain specific purposes, and then because of malfeasance, a deliberate move is made to kill them, yeah, or to have them not come into effect. So as a House, we should really take this matter seriously. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Owen, Honorable Owen Bai.
I just want to first inform Council, very learned friend,
not a very learned man, I was told not to use learned friend, that he needs to move beyond that and amend the law so that we don't just throw them out, but that the law says that Parliament can also follow up by doing 1, 2, 3. But as it stands, the law is that we bring them here and just throw them out. And that's what the law says. And I think you're a good legislator, and the people of Suba North, South or North? South voted very well for you. And although Junet has very unpalatable words about you, but I think you're a great man. And please help this Parliament amend the law, okay, so that we'll be able to do further than. But, Honorable Speaker, I want to speak on the regulations that the committee is proposing, that we actually adopt the report to do away with this regulation. Honorable Speaker, I think it's very important. The reason why we pass law here, and law with a rider to say that the parent ministry will make regulations, is to give effect to the law, But when, Honorable Speaker, cabinet secretaries or ministry or department or sagas come and do regulations, they make you regulations, they want to sneak them behind Parliament, Honorable Speaker, it is very clear it is only Parliament that can make law, Honorable Speaker, but not any other body. And sometimes you realize that lapses and therefore it becomes law. I want to tell those that have been given the opportunity by the President to serve in the capacity of cabinet secretaries, please do the duty that you are mandated by law. Create the required regulations, make the required regulations and bring them to the House as fast as possible so that we can give effect to the law. Sometimes we have law that we cannot implement because regulations have not been done. You cannot operationalize the law very well because regulations have not been done, Honorable Speaker. I'll give you a good example, Madam Speaker, even as Mr. Gishimu tries to distract you from what I'm trying to say. Honorable Speaker, you remember the Fisheries Bill, the Fisheries Act. The Fisheries Act went into operation without regulations for many years, Honorable Speaker. And the fishermen in Kilifi, the fishermen in the coast, the fishermen in Nyanza, and the fishermen all over the country suffered just because a cabinet secretary failed to bring regulations. Regulations which were meant to actually to operationalize the law. What happened after having all this law for many years, Honorable Speaker, the court in Malindi actually declared that law unconstitutional, because somebody failed to do his duty. So today, here, a total number of 10 set of regulations, Honorable Speaker, are being annulled here just because somebody did not do his job properly. It's a waste of time, waste of taxpayers' time, waste of taxpayers' money, and a waste of the industry. The petroleum sector is very important in this country. The petroleum industry, very important. One of the places that we must have regulations on time is the petroleum sector because it drives almost every part of the economy. But when a cabinet secretary does not do the right thing, and Parliament has now to quash all these 10 regulations, Honorable Speaker, just because somebody failed to do his duty, Honorable Speaker, that is despicable, and that should not happen in this country. And this Parliament, I want to tell them, this Parliament is awoke more than any other time. We see what they think we cannot see, and we discern what they think we cannot discern. And, Honorable Speaker, I want to congratulate the committee for doing the right thing. And I want to say that the Committee of Delegation continue that way. And those cabinet secretary or people given mandate to develop subsidiary regulations must follow the law and do it properly, do it well, so that this country and the industries that they've been put in charge of can move forward. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I support.
Very well. Honorable CNN. Not on this. If there is no more interest on this, Member Fotetu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have all been complaining, or maybe some of us in this House, about what we see as continued executive overreach, and especially cabinet secretaries, maybe even regulatory authorities, doing things that are clearly outside what they have been mandated in law. And Madam Speaker, this House has a duty ahead of it, and I like what the Deputy Majority Leader has said, that we are now woke more than any other time. And as a House, we must be alert to some of these executive decisions that are being sneaked time and again behind Parliament's back. If we are to redeem the image of this House, which you know, Madam Speaker, is at an all-time low in the eyes of Kenyans, where they see Parliament as a puppet of the executive, where they see Parliament as not aligned to what is going on in the country, where they see Parliament as a rubber stamp. So it is very, very important that when we pick up these sort of issues, that then Parliament is seen to stamp its authority on this. So, Madam Speaker, I fully support. And I also support those who say that it should not end here. These sort of actions must have some sort of follow-up actions so that, as they say in Swahili, iwe funzo kwa wengine. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well. There being no more interest on this, I'll call the mover to reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As I reply, I want to thank members who have contributed to this motion and supported. And I would like to indicate that the law limits us as Parliament through the Committee of Delegated Legislation to annul where regulations have been submitted out of the requisite time. And that also gives us a room as a Parliament or any other member who may wish to amend the law so that we can also reprimand where people or where the regulatory making authorities do not make or do not do what is required as per the law. And also, let me also correct what has been said by Honorable Member for Tetu. Actually, these regulations were not sneaked to Parliament. It's only that they were submitted out of the time required by the Statutory Instrument Act. So, Honorable Speaker, I thank you, and I also take this opportunity to thank the Office of the Speaker and the Clerk for facilitating the committee and all the members of the Committee on Delegated Legislation, led by the able Chair, Honorable Samuel Chepkonga, for the good coordination we are doing in that committee. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I beg to reply.
Very well, we shall defer the putting of the question. Before we go to the next order, under order number 11, we shall step down Roman 2, so we will be dealing with Roman 1 under order number 11.
Order number 11, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, we are now in the Committee of the Whole for the consideration of the Pyrethrum Repeal Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2024.
Clause 2.
Honorable members, I propose the question that Clause 2 be part of the bill. Has no amendment. I now put the question that Clause 2 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title of the bill be the title of the bill. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. No amendment. I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, we have come to the end of the Committee of the Whole on this bill. I will therefore call the mover to move reporting.
Thank you. Hon Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Parathram Repeal Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2024, and its approval thereof without amendments.
I therefore put the question that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Parathram Repeal Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2024, and its approval thereof without amendments.
Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Amen, stand up, stand up.
Order members, allow me to retake that and put the question that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Parathram Repeal Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2024, and its approval thereof without amendments. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Rise, all rise.
Chairperson.
Interesting. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Parathram Repeal Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2024, and approved the same without amendments.
Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Parathram Repeal Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2024. I also request the Honorable Ngogoyo, yes, to second the motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We have gone through the bill and we support it as it is. Thank you.
Second.
Oh.
Did you
Madam
second, Honorable
Speaker,
Member?
I rise to second. We have gone through the bill. We've exhausted debate, and we agree with the Committee of the Whole. Thank you.
Very well. Honorable members, I therefore propose the question that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Parathram Repeal Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2024. So, honorable members, the putting of the question will be deferred to the next sitting. Next order.
Order number 12, the Maternal, Newborn and Child Health Bill, Senate Bill number 17 of 2023. Resumption of debate.
This was already moved by the Chair, Health Committee, Who was on the floor?
Honorable Speaker, I beg that understanding order 90.
Wait, Honorable Mbaya. Honorable Fatuma had a balance of 5 minutes, but she's not in the House, so we'll continue with the debate. Honorable Owen, were you on this?
Yeah, I want to request you to call the mover to reply, because looking at the lapse of time, people may not even recall what this bill was about. But I think debate was done conclusively, and therefore, now that the Honorable Dr. Nyikal is here, he could reply and we move on. And this is a good bill, after all, Honorable Speaker. And I think by the we get to third reading.
Very well, you've made your point, Honorable Owen. Honorable members, allow me to put the question that the mover be called to reply. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover. Chairman for Health Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to first of all appreciate the members that contributed to this and the issues that they raised pertaining to this. And I also wish to appreciate the Senate members that actually brought this and the support that it came through in our committee. Honorable Speaker, this is an extremely important bill, because if you look at our health data, if you look at the indicators of health, this is the one area of the health sector where we still need a lot of work to do. If you look at our maternal mortality, it's actually still high, and with that, the perinatal mortality is equally high, both of which are indicating that we have problems in the area of antenatal care, delivery, and the care of children immediately after birth. Therefore, this bill is important, is actually addressing this, and therefore I expect that we will soon bring it to the committee of the whole House and make it eventually an act of Parliament. With that, Madam Speaker, I beg to reply.
Very well. We shall defer the putting of the question. Next order.
Order number 13, motion, consideration of sessional paper number 5 of 2024 on the National Green Fiscal Incentives Policy Framework.
Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Environment, Forestry and Mining. Not in the House. We shall defer that order. Next order.
Order number 14, the Tea Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 1 of 2023, second reading.
Honorable Brighton Yegon.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to move the Tea Amendment Bill 2023, Senate Bill number 1 of 2023 for the second reading. The principal objective of this bill is to amend certain provisions of the Tea Act, Cap 343, to restructure the value chain, enhance transparency and accountability in the tea sales, improve grower earnings, promote value addition, and strengthen regulatory framework governing the tea industry in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, the bill aims to achieve this by providing for institutionalization of direct sales of tea, establish a direct settlement system to guarantee timely disbursement of tea proceeds to growers, incentivize the value addition of Kenyan tea by exempting certain categories of packaged tea from levy, devolve specific regulatory functions to county government, enhance the governance architecture of Tea Board of Kenya, and harmonize the statutory definitions of terminologies employed within the Tea Act to ensure legislative coherence and administrative clarity. Honorable Speaker, allow me to highlight some of the specific issues that the bill seeks to address. One is direct sales. The bill proposes to introduce provisions for direct sales of tea by allowing licensed factories to, or entities to representing growers to engage in direct sales. Madam Speaker, tea proceeds management. The bill proposes to establish direct settlement system for depositing proceeds from direct sales of tea within 14 days after the auction. Number 3, Madam Speaker, exemptions from the tea levy to incentivize value addition and diversification. The bill proposes to amend the existing law to exempt specialty and value-added teas packaged in certain quantities from the payment of the tea levy. Madam Speaker, number 4 is participation of factories in direct tea sales. The bill proposes to amend the existing laws to allow licensed factories to participate in direct sales in Kenyan or overseas, as well as tea auction. Honorable Speaker, the tea industry being a critical sector in the economy of this country, the Departmental Committee of Agriculture and Livestock conducted an elaborate public participation that involved all stakeholders in the country who gave their views, their opinions, and inputs through both oral and written submissions, which the committee considered and factored in to the report tabled in the House today. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, allow me to thank the Senate for approving this bill to come to this House, all the stakeholders in the tea sector for their immense input, and during the stakeholder consultation, members of the Agriculture and Livestock Committee for their effort for refining this bill, all the members for their input to ensure that we deliver appropriate bill to the tea sector. Honorable Speaker, the Tea Amendment Bill 2023 introduces progressive reforms that are consistent with the constitutional principles and national economic agenda. We recommend that, subject to minor drafting, the refinement and amendment which the committee and members of this House will move, the bill be approved for enactment. With that, I beg to move. Madam Speaker, I want to add the following. Recently, there was a release of second payment, which is called tea bonuses for our tea farmers. And the performance of the tea industry was very dismal. In the past 3 years, actually 3 years ago, tea farmer got a second payment of almost 31 shillings per kilo. Last year, tea farmers got 20 shillings per kilo, especially in my region. And recently, this year, from my factory, a tea farmer got 12 shillings per kilo. That is in the west of Rift, that is in my factory. There is variation and dismal performance, especially from the factories that are from the west of Rift. And when you look at the performance of factories from the east of Rift, which is the central region, which is the Meru region, which is the Embu region, performance in the past 3 years also has dwindled. There are so many variations and factors that contribute to this, Madam Speaker. And these are issues that we're trying to sort out by moving this particular bill and by trying to pass this particular bill so that it can assist our farmers get to improve on price per kilo going forward. Madam Speaker, more than 700,000 smallholder tea farmers depend on tea. And from the 700,000 smallholder tea farmers, last year alone, this country got in foreign exchange or money that came to our economy more than 215 billion. The other year, this country got almost 175 billion. And this year, it got more than 230 billion Kenya shillings that came to our economy. Tea in Kenya is almost the third foreign income earner. And tea is a cash crop that we need to protect, Madam Speaker. And that is why we are coming in with this bill, so that it can be able to assist our farmer, get even more price per kilo. The reasons for the dismal performance of our tea industry, and especially tea factories from the west of Rift, are ranging from issues to do with cost of production in our factories. There are issues to do with staffing. Most of the factories in the west of Rift have overstaffed, employing relatives, and that is the reason why when the cost of production goes up, then it means the money coming to the pocket become less. One of the other reasons is the wood fuel, which has been inflated, and these are among the reasons that we are currently investigating. In fact, I saw a draft of a motion bringing in another committee in this house so that we can be able to investigate the value chain of tea and be able to establish where these losses or where a farmer loses from the entire value chain in the tea industry. Madam Speaker, there are other issues to do with hydropower. Some of the factories in the west of Rift, Madam Speaker, contributed money worth almost 138 million. From the 7 factories in the west of Rift which contributed to build a hydropower plant called Setet and Kipsonoi. To date, Madam Speaker, none is complete. In fact, money has been dispensed for Kipsonoi plant for mobilization of almost 200 million 2 years ago. And to date, nothing has happened in that particular construction of that particular hydropower. And this is the reason why we want audit and forensic audit for that matter, so that we can be able to establish where farmers' money went to. Where farmers' money went to. And we need to know also the timelines for completion. Because if this hydropower would have been complete, then farmers would have enjoyed lower cost of production. And therefore, the money that will be saved will be channeled into the pocket of the farmer. Madam Speaker, there are issues to do with tea testing. Farmers are complaining that in this time and age, we are still testing our tea using organoleptic, which is using testing by mouth. And testing by mouth, Madam Speaker, a person who took his whiskey yesterday night will be testing your tea in the morning. A person who takes the tobacco will be testing your tea in the morning and will be giving a value to that particular tea. These are things that farmers from the West are complaining, and farmers from the West are disputing, and farmers from the West are saying we are supposed to shift from the organoleptic testing to scientific or blind testing. Madam Speaker, we have to move. We have to move from the organoleptic to blind testing, because even in our exams today, Madam Speaker, they only put in the index number, which does not show the name of the pupil sitting for the exam, and does not show the school where the pupil is coming from. This is to avoid, men as biases. To avoid that person who is marking, for him to know where this pupil is coming from. Because if I come from school X, for example, today, and I'm marking an exam from school X, and I know a student coming from school X is my son, my daughter, of course, I'll be biased in a way. And that is the reason why we have to shift from the organoleptic testing to either blind or scientific. And I want to applaud Tea Board of Kenya, because currently they are seeking for support for us, Committee of Agriculture, to support it with regards to funding or providing a budget and appropriating a budget for them to build scientific labs so that they can be able to test the teas, our teas, and give it a proper value, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, all this happens in the auction, and I'm happy today. Through this bill, we are going to introduce direct sales. And direct sales means directors at the factory level or the management service at the factory level will be able to negotiate with buyers directly from outside the country or within the country and sell their teas without having to pass through the auction. Madam Speaker, these matters of tea in Kenya, the tea production in Kenya, the teas that we produce in Kenya, we only consume 5%. And we export 95%. And most of the countries that we export to are traditional markets. The markets that we found in 2000 when KTDA was still an authority. And to date, we've not shifted to new markets. And that is why today we want to shift from the traditional markets, and that is why we want to empower Tea Board of Kenya. This bill is trying to empower Tea Board of Kenya so that they can be able to venture into new markets, they can look into new markets and negotiate so that we can be able to get direct sales of our teas. This bill is also trying to empower Tea Research Institute, so the Tea Research Institute can be able to do proper research on the good loans that our teas can, of clones that the clones that can produce the best teas, especially specialty teas, the orthodox teas, the green teas, and the purple tea, and all those value-added teas. Madam Speaker, some of the challenges that we are experiencing in our factories are to do with the merged accounts. You find that, especially in the west of Rift, there are so many factories that are lumped up together. Kapkoros Tea Factory, for example, has around 4 other factories that are that Kapkoros has given birth to. One of them is Moti Goti, another one is Olenguruoni, Tirigagati,
and others. And when it comes to calculation of this payment, despite of the performance of each individual factory, they do an average. So if you work hard, for example, like the way Motigo Tea Factory worked hard, and they got a positive of 8, and the way the other factories did not work hard, and they got a negative, at the end of the day, they come and do an average, which now pulls down the people who worked hard and struggled so hard to pick the right quality of tea, which is 2 parts and a leaf, and the others may not have considered picking the right quality, and it demotivates the farmers from the factories who worked so hard and who kept the promise of keeping the cost of production down. And therefore, at the end of the day, they become demotivated. Madam Speaker, so many factories, especially from the west of Rift, have borrowed loans to settle the second payment. Based on the volumes of teas and valuation of teas that are in the stores or in the warehouses in Mombasa. Madam Speaker, with introduction of this bill, we want tea bonus payment to be valued and to be paid every quarterly, so that farmers can enjoy whatever you get in the quarter, you enjoy that one in that particular quarter. Because at the end of the year, there are normally so many stories that there was in this country, and therefore, that has contributed to the minimum earnings that you've earned in that particular year. So we want the tea farmers to enjoy whatever they earned for in that particular quarter. KTDA or any other management agency that manage for them to do their calculation and give them their second payment in quarterly so that they can be able to enjoy. Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, I beg to move. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Who is seconding you?
Madam Speaker, I want Sabina, who is also a member in agriculture, to second. Thank you.
Honorable Sabina Chege.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And on the onset, I want to say that I am also a tea farmer, Madam Speaker, and I'm happy to be seconding this bill, and I'm also a member of the Agriculture Committee. Madam Speaker, this bill is not for farmers of east of Kenya or west. It's a bill that is supposed to be addressing the issues facing the tea farmers. And I would just like to encourage my vice chair. It doesn't matter the region you come from. These are growers of tea, and this is a crop, a cash crop that some of us went to school, courtesy of the tea. Madam Speaker, I'm also aware of where your origin you come from. If it were not for tea, you may not have seen the door of high school. Madam Speaker, we have had challenges and success stories within the tea sector. But this bill is very specific on some issues. The first one is encouraging the issue and looking at the value chain. This bill wants to enhance transparency so that it doesn't matter where the farmer comes from or the numbers of directors representing at the high, the national level of the Kenya Tea Development Board. But Madam Speaker, every farmer, there'll be transparency on how much money has been sold, where their money went to, and how much money belongs to the grower. So accountability has been encouraged in this bill. and especially in the sales of tea from the auction. And Madam Speaker, this bill aims to improve the growers' earnings. It also aims to improve the value addition. The tea in Kenya, we have very good tea, but sometimes when we sell black tea and it's not value added, apart from few companies that are now adding value and packaging as Kenyan tea, it just gets to the market and it's taken as normal tea or tea from other countries, and this is our tea that is boosting the teas from other countries. So it is important at this time that the companies, the people who, or the factories who adds more effort in value addition, they'll be exempted from some levies, and they'll also be exempted from some taxes so that they're encouraged. We market our tea as Kenyan tea, having been added value. And I am very sure, Madam Speaker, yesterday I passed through a supermarket and I was buying tea, and I was very proud to see some of the companies, Kenyan-owned companies. They have detox tea. I saw there was even a night tea, morning tea, moon tea. I was very, 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 very impressed. Even the dawa that we take, that sometimes you have to go and buy it very expensively. So there's now blended tea with ginger and everything, and it is made in Kenya. This is encouraged, Madam Speaker, and I'm very sure we can be able to fetch more for the farmers if we are able to add value instead of taking our tea in forms of bags when they are taken to the auction. This bill will strengthen the regulatory framework, Madam Speaker, that is governing the tea industry. And Madam Speaker, as we talk about the direct sales to be encouraged, we know our farmers have become almost slaves to the banks. Madam Speaker, our farmers, when it comes to taking their children back to school, they will go to the local banks and just go and take a loan, and this loan is based on the pay slip that they got either from the previous bonus or what they get monthly. And the bank managers are happy to quickly, count for them, and the interests are not that easy, Madam Speaker. So you find that the tea farmer, apart from the small monthly earning that they get, Madam Speaker, and this they normally divide with the tea pluckers, the people who pluck tea, who are also very expensive, Madam Speaker. You find that the farmers get nothing, almost nothing at the monthly level. And so when this money is kept for the farmer, then it becomes a total loss, because by the end of the day, when they are being paid bonus at the end of the year, they go back to the bank where the money passes through, then they find they actually have a negative. So the farmer is left with no other alternative but to borrow again. And so they have become slaves, Madam Speaker, to these commercial banks. And so once we are encouraging the direct sales, there is also the issue of timely payment to the growers, and also to make sure that this tea, once it's sold at the auction, within 14 days, when the money is paid, then this money is paid back to the farmers. And Madam Speaker, we are also encouraging that bonus is paid quarterly. We know we know our children go back to school in May, in August, and January. So we have the 3 seasons. So if this bonus is paid quarterly, Madam Speaker, the farmers will not have any business to go and borrow, because they will have money. And then they're able to plan for their own money, Madam Speaker. But we have also seen sometimes there is also misuse when bonus comes in. I think where you come from, we are just a few varies across each other, where we had men disappearing during Christmas and only them showing up January or at the end of December, broke, beaten, because they took their money elsewhere, where they went and got a bit confused, took a little bit of some alcohol, and forgot that they had wives who had toiled so hard to make sure that they get the tea proceeds. So, Madam Speaker, all I would want to say is this. I hope this bill will cure, and the tea board, as it comes in, they'll be able to address the many challenges that might be, my vice chair also alluded to, are not part of the bill, but he took the chance to allude to the challenges that the tea farmers are facing. Of course, when the dollar is high, last year, Madam Speaker, we had very good payments. But at this point, Madam Speaker, this year, where the dollar has still remained at 129, this affected our farmers' payments. And of course, the other challenge is the issue of fertilizers. There's the issue of some of these tea factories are also very old. So running those machines that keep on being repaired is also a cost. And Madam Speaker, the tea research, I hope they can be able to quicken and fast track. There is orthodox tea, and I want to say that one of our factories called Gere. Very soon we are hoping the president will come and launch the orthodox line. And the farmers who actually did orthodox tea got very high returns compared to the normal black tea that we are used of. So it's a high time as a country, we do the research and then we help our farmers improve. Some of the bushes, Madam Speaker, when I was born, those are the same bushes we are still plucking in till today. So quality also cannot be compromised. If you don't follow up on the 2 leaves and a bud, then you also don't expect that you're going to get good quality and good price. So we will encourage each other. Let us learn from where we have failed so that we can be able to improve. And I hope, Madam Speaker, that this bill, when it is addressed and when it comes to pass, we will no longer hear the stories of these are from West or from East. We'll hear about tea growers from Kenya. We'll hear about equality and equity, Madam Speaker. But also, a farmer can be able to clearly tell, this is my quality, this is the price I got, and transparency is going to be encouraged. So I second, Madam Speaker, and I'd wish to ask the House to second this bill so that the quagmire, the confusion, the rumors, the propagandas, and even the politicization of tea can stop with this bill. I thank you, Madam Speaker, and I second.
Very well. Honorable members, I therefore propose a question that the Tea Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 1 of 2023, be now read a second time. Member for Tetu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, half of my constituency grows tea and the other half coffee. And anything that we can do at this time to improve the plight of our farmers, as a house, we will really be adding value to the lives of Kenyans. It is true, Madam Speaker, that in the just concluded financial year, there was a huge discrepancy in the payment of tea bonuses, especially some factories in the west of this country got very low returns, and others did very well. And both the proposer and the seconder of the motion have attributed some of the reasons, the age of the factory, the quality of the tea, the age of the bushes. There are many factors that lead to some of these things. But more importantly, Madam Speaker, it is the management of the factories. My own factory, Gaduthi Tea Factory, had the third highest payment, and I must openly congratulate the directors in the country. It's an old factory, but they have continued to work hard to deliver 57 shillings and 50 cents in bonus, which was the third highest in the country. So it is important that we also address the issue of management. We know a lot of these factories have borrowed left, right, and center from banks. Part of the money was misused, and now they are paying huge interest for some of these loans, which is eroding farmers' earnings. We also know there is this infighting within KTDA that has persisted for a long time. Thankfully, now it's a bit settled, which has also, to a large extent, compromised the whole management of the tea sector. So, Madam Speaker, any bill to improve the plight of farmers, and especially the provision to pay bonuses quarterly, that will be a game changer in this country. I am a tea farmer. I have a small, very, very small piece of land for tea. The money I get monthly is not even enough to sustain the person who picks the tea. So as a tea farmer, I wait a whole year with all my problems, waiting for that magical thing called bonus. And like the proposer and the seconder has said, we have children who need to go to school. So you go to a lot of these tea growing areas, and the tea farmers are poor. Imagine, Madam Speaker, even you, If this parliament told you that you'll be earning your salary only in December the whole year. So I don't know where, I think this bonus issue, it's a strange invention. How do you ask the person to toil on their farm every day? Then the only reasonable payment they get is after 1 year. Yet, Madam Speaker, we know tea is sold weekly. Tea is sold monthly. Like now, my own factory, Gaduthi, they have reported to me that their tea for September, they do not even have a single bag in Mombasa because they have high quality tea. It's already been sold. So why should that farmer wait a whole year? So we are impoverishing our people through an ancient, archaic system of paying bonuses, yearly. So, Madam Speaker, these and very many other progressive pieces of legislation that have been added to this tea bill, the tea regulations amendment bill, is something that this House, should be able to embrace. Maybe we should even be considering direct settlement system, like whatever we've been fighting for coffee farmers, so that when my tea is sold, the kilos are known. There's a formula, and I get my money, through M-Pesa, and that will encourage more and more farmers to embrace, tea growing. So this is a progressive bill. It deserves the support of all of us in this House. We hope there are no hidden issues, but I trust the mover, since he comes from a tea growing region. Madam Speaker, sometimes we have huge bills, so we are only told the positive part. Then you have some little hidden issues. So, but because I know he is looking for the election and he cannot afford to...
Member for Tetu, that is why you must also read for yourself.
Madam Speaker, I've read bits and pieces, but it's a big bill. So, but because he comes from, and he's also seeking the election, he cannot afford to mess up his tea farmers, neither can I. So, yes, I support. Thank you.
Member for Kitui Central, Dr. Makali.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for this opportunity. It is obvious that where I come from, we don't grow tea, but I want to support this important bill, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, listening to those who grow tea, what they are telling the country is they are facing challenges in terms of payments. Our farmers are toiling the whole day, doing very hard work in terms of ensuring that there is tea. At the same time, we all know that the quality of our tea, Kenyan tea, all over the world, is very high quality. And actually, in most cases, is used to improve the quality of tea from other countries. That being the case, we expect our farmers to get a very good return for the tea. But you can hear from those who wear that shoe that things are not working. And that's why this bill becomes very important, Honorable Speaker, that we are able to support even those of us who don't grow tea. Why am I supporting this? I'm supporting because when the tea farmers do well, the farmers from Kitui and the southeastern part of this country who grow what we call ndengu will also be able to support, to benefit as the next group. So, Honorable Speaker, what we are saying is Kenyans from all over the country do grow different crops. And others have their own economic activities. Like when I look at the lake, they have the fishing sector, which is their source of income, Honorable Speaker. And I think what we should be doing as a House is to ensure that we put in place strategies, structures, and even if there is need, legal frameworks, which ensure that whatever economic activity Kenyans are engaged in, Honorable Speaker, that the returns are optimized. In that case, we'll be helping it. We know very well in this country, and when we look at the history of the country, the tea farmers, the coffee farmers, the sugar farmers have actually benefited a lot since independence. Those who depend on blue economy, and I can see Dr. Ikal here, I can see Baya here, they only started benefiting the other day. Blue economy is a new thing in town. Those who are growing dengue like us, we are yet to benefit. I do remember there was the MAG bill, which was sponsored by my senator, which didn't see the end of the tunnel, and it died a natural death. So, Honorable Speaker, even as I support this bill, I would want to see a situation where even us, who will be proposing bills relating to our crops, are also supported, so that at the end of the day, Honorable Speaker, we don't appear like some people are being favored in this country when it comes to issues like, like Honorable Speaker, I sit in the budget committee. We have this fund for the coffee farmers, where we put every year about 3 billion to support coffee farmers. Now, this is another bill which is targeting the tea farmers. In the past, we have had the sugar farmers being built out by the government using the still public resources. So we need to come up with an equitable way of ensuring that each region of this country benefits from some of these things, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say I support this bill, and it is my wish to see tea farmers getting better returns for their tea, because Kenyan tea has been internationally recognized as one of the best in terms of quality in the world. So that being the case, it is very unfair that people just do a minimal value addition and they get 10 times returns compared to what the farmer, who on day-to-day basis is in the farm, gets. And I think that unfairness should actually be sorted out by bills like what we are doing. And I would really encourage that once the bill is passed to be an act of parliament, Honorable Speaker, the other step is enforcement, implementation. Honorable Speaker, we have seen bills which are passed in this House, and up to now, some of them have never been operationalized, Honorable Speaker. Meaning the bill has been passed by this House, is still in the shelves. So my prayer is that once this becomes an act of parliament, and I see very good signs that it's going to become an act of parliament, that then the issue of making it operational is taken up very seriously, and then we can ensure that our colleague, who seemed to have to be the only survivor from the last election from the region, can be another survivor for the third term by championing this bill. And I wish him well, because I know he's a good legislator. I've heard what Ndeto has said, Mheshimiwa from Nyeri. I see a situation where also this could provide an opportunity. And also said and done, Honorable Speaker, you as to really where you sit, Honorable Speaker, because I know you also have an interest in this bill, depending on where you come from. We wish you well. So we'll be supporting this bill so that our colleagues can have that opportunity to help their farmers, but indirectly also help themselves. With those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Very well. Member for Runyenjes, Honorable Eric.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this very progressive bill. And Honorable Speaker, may I state that I represent a constituency where tea is grown in very large numbers. And for the avoidance of doubt, I am the Member of Parliament who represents people who sell their tea in the Rukuriri Tea Factory, which was the best factory in the entire country in terms of the amount of money that it paid the farmers. So as the Honorable Vice Chair is complaining that some people got better and others didn't get as much, we are the people who got relatively more than them. And I wish to thank him for this bill, because this bill is going to help our farmers get more returns from it. Honorable Speaker, the bill speaks to the issue of direct sales for tea by allowing licensed factories to engage in direct sales. And most importantly, Madam Speaker, is that the bill proposes a sales settlement system, so that after tea is sold at the auction and it is paid within 14 days, and Madam Speaker, I don't see the reason why tea is bought in January and farmers have to wait for the money until around 10 to 12 months so that they can be paying the same money that they earned many months ago as bonus. So I am a tea farmer myself, and I represent a constituency that has coffee farmers and tea farmers. Already the coffee farmers are benefiting from the direct sales settlement system, because once coffee is bought at the auction, it is paid within 14 days. For instance, the coffee that was sold, Madam Speaker, the coffee that was sold between April and July has already been settled and paid. So I am believing that should our tea be sold and payment settled within 14 days, then factories and directors have a responsibility now to pay the farmers their money in good time, because farmers have bills to pay, farmers have kids to educate, and the more they keep the money, the more they get opportunities to have their money squandered by the managers and the directors who perhaps are wrong. So, Madam Speaker, I believe that this law is very progressive. It also provides for the exemption from tax for the factories that are going to do value addition. And nowadays we have seen so many factories, including Mungania and the Rokoria tea factories that are in my constituency, are already doing value addition. So exempting these factories, or rather these factories from payment of tax for products that are value added, means more income to the farmer. And the reason as to why our people are engaged in farming is so that they can get more income from the activities that they do. Honorable Speaker, earlier today I rose here to ask for a statement regarding the delayed payment for milk farmers. And you see, Honorable Speaker, the same people that are doing tea farming are the same people who are doing coffee farming, are the same people who are doing dairy farming. And the common issue that we must address as a government and as leaders is the issue of settlement of dues owed to farmers timely. Because how do you explain, Honorable Speaker, a situation whereby a farmer has to deliver their product, let's say milk, and 4 months down the line has not been paid, yet they have household bills to pay and such. So this tea bill, Honorable Speaker, through its direct sales system, settlement system, will help farmers get their money in time so that they can attend to their other responsibilities that they have. And I believe since it has worked in the coffee sector, even in the tea sector, it is going to work. I have seen, Honorable Speaker, in my constituency, we now have more people planting coffee. And the reason is they are now getting better income from coffee. And I believe now the tea farmers will get help from this progressive bill. So, Honorable Speaker, I support.
Owen Bayer.
Honorable Speaker, just like the Honorable Makali Mulu, I want to put a disclaimer that we don't grow tea where I come from. But Honorable Speaker, tea, when we were in school, we were told tea is one of those high foreign exchange earners, you know, tourism, tea, coffee, you know, high foreign exchange earners. And we, as a country, we benefited. And you remember there was a time in this country where there are two words that were very important, the coffee boom and the tea boom, you know. And that time, the economy of this country was actually booming because of what was happening in the agriculture sector. That time, there was a lot of very good farm inputs, and farmers were encouraged. And actually, Honorable Speaker, to tell you from the bottom of my heart, this country grew from tea and coffee. You know, that is where it sprang from independence. And you know, tea became one household commodity. Every family had tea in the morning, the British way, including Dr. Yikal's family, and including the Honorable from Suba. You know, tea. I know he takes tea up to today. You don't take tea, you take coffee. Yes, but a lot of families in this country, Honorable Speaker, up to today, they do tea in the morning because tea was such a fundamental drink. It was part of the Kenyan staple food, if I may put it that way, Honorable Speaker. And because of that, Honorable Speaker, economies and families actually got an opportunity to be who they are. They were able to take their children to school. They were able to build nice houses. They were able to grow wealth, Honorable Speaker. They are actually, Honorable Speaker, in the history of this country, people whose wealth, and they became very wealthy, only came from tea, Honorable Speaker. But Honorable Speaker, that's the time when agriculture sector, investment in agriculture sector were almost limitless. There's a lot of investment in the agricultural sector. But today, Honorable Speaker, the agricultural sector is taking a back seat. And yet we are still a very agrarian economy. We understand it. We are still a very agrarian economy. And yet we are not investing in what is a fundamental for us, Honorable Speaker. The economist, Makali Mul, will support me, or if not, is this. Show me your budget and I show you your direction. There is a maxim like that in economics. Show me your budget and I show you your direction. If you do not invest in a certain area, you cannot grow in that area. And you do not just wish you will grow. You have to invest for you to grow. Honorable Speaker, the investments that have been going into the agriculture sector, I think, are very minimal. And that's why tea farmers are suffering more than any other sector, Honorable Speaker. And because we have stopped investing in the economy, the agricultural economy, Honorable Speaker, this country's economy has stagnated. Because for us to talk about manufacturing, you know, Honorable Speaker, and I want to speak this with confidence, for you to grow in manufacturing, you must invest heavily in agriculture so that you have the raw material for you to take it to the factory so that the factories can grow and those factories can employ more people and you can do value addition. That is correct economics, Honorable Speaker. But if you want to grow factories, but you're not investing in agriculture, Honorable Speaker, it cannot go that way. You will start having more of a superfluous factories that, Honorable Speaker, do not do much. For example, EPZ would have done better if we were stronger in cotton, Honorable Speaker. But cotton is no longer there. So what do? We import materials, we make clothes, and then export, Honorable Speaker. It doesn't help the economy. But if we were generating wealth from the land, and this is where tea is important. It is generating wealth from the land. And if you generate wealth from the land, Honorable Speaker, then you grow an economy upwards and of course, horizontally, Honorable Speaker. And everybody gets a pie, and therefore poverty does not. There are times when, Honorable Speaker, where Wakili Mureu comes from, I know they grow tea there. Yes, I have been there. And, you know, I campaigned for this guy when he was trying to be MP. Now he thinks he's cleverer than his campaigner. Listen to my words, my friend.
He's a lawyer.
He's a lawyer, but listen to my words, my friend. I will not come to campaign for you again. But I want to tell you this, and this is very important.
Owen, you address the speaker. You address the speaker.
Honorable Speaker, I want to tell Mureu, T, if he insists on his people to grow tea.
Member for Tetu.
And he ensures his...
What is out of order?
Madam Speaker, there's a good reason why Owen will not be able to campaign in Gatanga, because Gatanga is clear one term.
No, you ask Kilibure. I was there, he's my friend. I know almost all his 4 homes because I've been there campaigning for him and taking tea in his house. Yes, he is a wealthy man. God has blessed him and he's sharp. He's a brilliant man.
Honorable Owen, back to the debate.
Now, back to the debate. What I'm saying is, for the MP for Gatanga, this is very important. Tea is very important. For the wealth of his people, people should not be going to his office to ask for bursary if they can grow tea, Honorable Speaker. People should not go to Brighton Yilgon's home to ask for school fees, because tea should be able to give them fees, Honorable Speaker. But the issues that are there, and I think they are addressed in this bill, and I like this is an act of parliament to amend the Tea Act to provide for direct sales of tea. Honorable Speaker, if we do away with these middlemen that have bogged down the tea sector, Honorable Speaker, we will make the tea farmers richer, Honorable Speaker. The other thing that is also happening is also to amend the payment system, Honorable Speaker. The payment system, which is very important, the payment of tea proceeds. Honorable Donya, and he is not here, but in the earlier part of this sitting, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Donya raised the issue of tea bonuses. tea bonuses. Why should we wait until December to pay tea bonuses? What are the people doing in between there, Honorable Speaker? We need to address the issue of payment systems, Honorable Speaker, and proceed from tea and the price of tea, Honorable Speaker. But more important, Honorable Speaker, if we make deliberate investments in the agriculture sector, and this is the house that gives out money, why are we giving money in other areas and denying the tea sector money? And yet, if we invested in that area, there will be growth, big growth that will touch everybody. Majority of the people in this country, Honorable Speaker, live in the tea growing areas, if I'm not wrong, Brighton. You know, if you look at the population, the way it is distributed, population distribution, you realize that the areas where tea is grown has higher population than other areas. Now, if you invest in areas, if you put your money in areas where there are higher population in that sector, Honorable Speaker, it will grow. And if it grows, everybody will have money in the pocket. And therefore, I want to thank the Honorable Bright Yegon and his team, Brighton Yegon and his team, and the people from the tea growing areas. And I want to tell them, this is a battle you must take to the last drop, Honorable Speaker. The battle to liberate the tea sector, the battle to make tea what it was before, the battle to take the tea economy, I want to call it the tea economy, to another level, Honorable Speaker. We will make this country a more vibrant economy. We'll make this country have lesser poor people, and we'll put money in the pockets of people if we invest in the tea, Honorable Speaker. You know, the Honorable Mukunji is a good friend of mine. And one day, I was appointed as his mentor in this assembly, to mentor him. But when he left my hands, Honorable Speaker, I can assure him that he's going to drown very soon. But the teacher is still around. The teacher is still around. I can still tutor him. I can still take care of him, Honorable Speaker. He's a young man. And but I want to say this, finally, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to say this. You know, the Honorable Kinjuri was once Minister for Agriculture. And I like the fact that he's here, because we can borrow a lot from his experience when he's minister there. And when he was minister there, I think he did something significant in the tea sector, Honorable Speaker. And his contribution is very significant to ensure that we uplift the issues of tea and other crops, Honorables. For example, you know, the leaders in my area watched the cashew nuts and coconut die. The factories were closed, and they watched there and clapped for Moi and clapped for everyone. They did nothing when the cashew nut sector was going down, and the coconut sector was going down, and the Bixa sector was going down, and the castor oil sector was going down. And they sat and watched and thought just being in government was enough. I want to tell the members here, it's not enough. Fight for your people. Fight for the...
Thank you. Member for Ruiru, Honorable King'aro.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam Speaker, rather, for giving me this opportunity to share on this very important amendment bill. And may I start by declaring that I'm a beneficiary of tea product, especially when those bonuses were there and were very fruitful, especially on matters of education. But, Madam Speaker, I always pose a question, and I ask myself, when somebody is happy or when people are happy, they say, let's have a cup of tea. Then I ask this question behind my mind. Is the producer of tea happy as the consumer? I don't know whether one had ever asked him or herself that question. Because it is ironical, you'll be happy of something which is the maker of that something is not happy. I think it should reciprocate the same. The other thing, Mr. Speaker, I will not blame whoever came with the old laws which had been managing tea, because that was then. But, Madam Speaker, now we have come an age where everything is in real time. Those days, maybe people need a middle person, if I can use that word terminology, to be able to reach to the next level. But, Madam Speaker, nowadays you don't need that. If you want to have a meeting with somebody in Brazil, you just go real time and have a virtual meeting. Why do you then need somebody to do that for you? And you have a phone which can do that. Remember the other day, we just broadened the usage of computer in our country, especially whereby each and every ward should have an ICT hub. And I think that's what our young ones should be doing, rather than a middleman. You can sell your father or mother's tea through your computer. Why do you need somebody else? And yet you have gone to school and you have learned these things. So, Madam Speaker, this bill is very timely. We just need to be very positive on it. Maybe, because I have just seen it, we might maybe having some amendment which will bolden the engineering of the committee who came with this very good and important amendment bill. Secondly, Madam Speaker, things work well when there is an incentive. I appreciate the government effort, especially when they came up with subsidized fertilizer, because that's an incentive on the production level. Madam Speaker, it can go forward and come up with maybe other incentives, especially when you have added value on the same tea. Then the system should accommodate you by maybe more moderning or even lightening some taxes which can be able to make you look positive and also, if I would say, competitive. Because, Madam Speaker, if we are not competitive, then we will not find our market stability when it comes to competition. Another thing I know, Madam Speaker, the land of Kenya, because of the maybe volcanic type of our soil, it produces very high quality of tea. So, Madam Speaker, what happens? People out there buy our tea, then use just a small quantity to blend their tea. What of if we pack our own tea with that quality? You can see how happy and energetic the farmer could be if that came our way. And it is our responsibility, Madam Speaker, since we have the floor here, to sit and come up with substantial amendment which will support our farmers out there and the community at large. I support. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well. Member for Seme.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me opportunity. Although I do not come from a tea growing area, I do appreciate the economic importance and significance of tea in this country. Madam Speaker, as the mover said earlier, our foreign exchange, a lot proportion of it actually comes from tea, and every year is such a significant proportion that if we didn't have it, we really would not probably have a balance of trade in our hands. And yet, as this is going on, it has been noticed, and the mover said very clearly, that the performance of the industry is gradually diminishing. And the first indicator often that an industry is not doing well is the performance of the farmers, the main actors in the industry. He did indicate, depending on what part of the country, and I don't really think that matters. The farmers are not getting the value for their work. As members just said, tea is such a serious socializer that every time we want to interact, say, let's have a cup of tea. But is the farmer enjoy and having an equal enjoyment as the people who are partaking of the tea, or as the people who are actually involved in the business? And it has come out clearly that all these have actually to do with the way we run the industry, starting with the management. It is clear that the cost of production is gone up and the management is not good. The mover said we have cases where there is overemployment in industries where the human resource issues are not managed professionally. The mover indicated that we are even using obsolete equipment in our factories that are not doing well, and efforts to actually get new factories, efforts to even produce power better are actually failing, and we never get there. So it means increasingly we are going to have higher costs of production. It is indicated that even the methods we use for grading our tea are archaic. We are still using our tongues to actually grade our tea. And I did appreciate when he said, it depends what you did the previous day with your tongue if you are going to grade our tea today. We really cannot afford to live in that era with a product that is so important to us. I therefore rise to support this bill because this bill is addressing those issues. As you can see in starting with clause 2, when we are going for definitions, and if you look at clause 11, they are talking of the direct sale of tea, defining what direct sale is, and that will actually ensure that the farmers will get better returns and quicker returns. And they have proposed that the payment should actually be 14 days after the auction has been done, and that the bonus should be quarterly instead of actually being done annually. And therefore, those are things that farmers need. And because we are doing annual bonuses, farmers have to rely on borrowing money from banks. And the banks are not the best friends of business people. And therefore, even when their bonuses come after the end of the year, the interest will have, by that time, the interest of the fund they borrowed will have consumed all the benefits they would have done. So I think this bill is important. Again, if you look at the definition in clause 2, particularly D, when they are talking of exemption on value addition and defining what is value addition, again, that is extremely important in improving the returns for the farmers. And even more importantly, Madam Speaker, if you look at clause 4 and 5, they are actually restructuring the board that manages this. And I think if you look at the structuring the board, getting people, independent tea producers, who actually feel the pinch of this in the board is an extremely important thing. So with that, Madam Speaker, I actually support this bill, but we'll have to look at it in details when we come to the committee of the whole House. So, Madam Speaker, I support this bill.
Thank you very much. Member for Gatanga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this most very, very important bill which is affecting our people. Madam Speaker, Gatanga is one of the leading constituencies in tea production. We have two factories, Jona Tea Factory and Gere Tea Factory. And the economy of Gatanga, the backbone is tea and coffee. And therefore, I would say this bill has come in timely. Madam Speaker, I will want to support the bill with amendment. And I would like, first and foremost, to support the clause which proposes that the farmer's bonus be paid on quarterly basis, as opposed to the current situation where the farmers are paid on annual basis. This is very progressive in the sense that the value of the shilling today is more valuable than the shilling 12 months down the line. And secondly, I don't think even the farmers, when that money has been kept for a whole 12 months, they benefit from the interest earned by the KTDA when the money has been kept for them for 12 months. And therefore, this is very progressive. It's going towards making strengthening the tea production in all the regions in Kenya, and I want to support on that clause. The second clause, Madam Speaker, I would like to support is on Section 13. Section 13, Madam Speaker, provides that licensed factory or management agent approved under Section 134 may undertake direct sales. Subsection 2 provides the prices offered at the direct sales shall be competitive and shall be sold at the price above the highest price recorded at the auction within the 3 months of preceding sale. Madam Speaker, the import of that is powerful in the sense that there are instances whereby you allow the tea to go to auction, and then there is an element of direct sale, but instead of farmers benefiting from a better price, there are deals which are cut under the table, so at least money can exchange hands. But this clause makes it very clearly that the price must be the price recorded at the auction, with the highest price recorded at the auction within the 3 months, the 3 months proceeding to the sale. That, Madam Speaker, cautions the farmers against exploitation. I have a few reservations, Madam Speaker, on this bill. Number one, this government introduced subsidized fertilizer. And my conversation with the factories, they told me that they were told to go proceed, procure, and anything over and above the subsidized price, the government will refund them. Madam Speaker, the factories in this country, they are owed 4.8 billion in cost of subsidized fertilizer. The government has not refunded them. And what do? They went to the bank, they borrowed the money, and they're still paying interest on that money. And therefore, some progressive bills like this one, the fact that the government has not paid back that money to the farmers, to the factories, to KTDA, the gains which this act is going to get is being eroded. And therefore, I urge, and I think at the right time, I need to bring up an amendment to the effect that in the event that the government takes brings in the subsidy fertilizer, their portion must be paid in advance so that this kind of gains brought by this act are not eroded. Secondly, Madam Speaker, we lost market in Sudan worth 64 billion. The reason why the bonus for 2025 was low is because the farmers lost a market in Sudan. And how did we lose that market? We lost that market because this government went ahead to work with the militia in Sudan. And Sudan government said, no, if Kenya is doing business with Janjaweed, then we ban their tea in our country. Madam Speaker, I would like to urge this.
Order. Member for Laikipia East. What is out of order?
I'm just wondering whether Honorable Member Mole, whom I respect a lot, is really in order to issue a statement that he cannot substantiate that this government is working with people fighting another government. And can he be able to substantiate, Madam Speaker?
Madam Speaker, this is information in public domain. This information in every newspaper. And therefore, Madam Speaker, what I'm trying to say long and short is this. As we proceed again to improve the tea in this country.
Honorable Member for Gatanga, a point of order has been raised. You've not addressed it. Member for Kilifi North.
Honorable Speaker, I just want to to let the member of Gatanga know that you cannot use, the standing orders do not allow you to use newspapers information to support your point in this house. So if he is saying that the kind of things that Honorable Kinjuri has stood to on a point of order to say, and the only response he says by justifying what he said is that it is common domain and it is in the newspaper. Be cleverer than that. Please. Standing orders are very clear. Withdraw what you have said, and we will ask you to withdraw and apologize for actually bringing in the issues of one country against another in this house,
Honorable
which is
Owen,
actually
Honorable
against...
Owen, don't do the work of the Speaker. Raise the point of order. Honorable Mureu, can you substantiate and also note that standing orders do not accept newspapers? That is a fact as sources of information. So be very careful on the utterances you make on the floor. If you are not able to substantiate, kindly withdraw, because that is a serious diplomatic issue. Kindly take note and either substantiate or withdraw.
Madam Speaker, I know sometimes the truth hurts. That is, even the KTDA report, where they were announcing the payment for 2025, that is one of the remarks they made, that they have lost a market. And then, Madam Speaker, I'm just trying to help Mr. Mbaya
Member
here.
for Gatanga, the issue of lower payout is not in debate and is not in question. It's not been challenged. The issue that has been challenged is the diplomatic relationship between Kenya and Sudan market.
Madam Speaker, if you want me to bring information, I'll give me time. I'll bring that information to the House and substantiate. But I think it's also important for Mr. Mbaya, who may be most likely, and he started very well, supporting the tea farmers in my region. But suddenly, when we talk about the loss of the markets in Sudan, I can see it's on fire. We know who you're acting for. We know who is playing that role.
Member for Gatanga.
And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I would like to go to the second point. Madam Speaker.
Member for Gatanga, just for direction, the issue on working with militia will be expunged from the Hansard until you are able to bring proper information to the House.
I'm also obliged, Madam Speaker. I'll bring some start information. Secondly, Madam Speaker, on the issue of my reservations, is on the taxes. Which taxes? Taxes on what you call the packaging. You find that though there is no direct taxes on the tea itself, there is an element of taxes on the packaging. There's an element of packaging in transport. There's an element of packaging on the fuel. Madam Speaker, developed countries, what they do is subsidize their farmers. Farming business has no money. And therefore, would I want to see more subsidies as opposed to more taxation in the tea industry? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well. Honorable Karoli.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'll try and be very brief. I want to start by saying I come from a country that grows tea. I don't like this statement that I come from a region that does not grow tea. We are Kenyans. We are not regionalists. So I come from a country that grows tea, and I'm very happy about our tea growing areas. But, Madam Speaker, I just wanted to raise two historical issues and then make a proposal as to how best we could deal with this issue. The reason why we have certain structures in the tea industry that do not clearly benefit the farmer are historical. Remember, tea was introduced by the colonialists, and the Africans were not allowed to grow tea. So there are reasons why certain regulations were put in place from that time to now. And the way the market is structured to an auction and not an exchange, a tea exchange like they have in other places. And also in this country, we used to have something called the Exchange Control Act. So a lot of people wanted to steal from the farmers, and they would delay the payments up to the end of the year so that they could manipulate the exchange receivables, see how much they could keep out of the country, how much they could declare, how much they could bring in, and how much they could pay the local farmers. So if we understand that these two are the original sins for structuring the tea industry in the way it is, then we should be very bold. I am not sure that having a tea auction like we have had will help the farmers if our concern is immediate settlement of their receivables. We should then propose to have a tea exchange. A tea exchange. Because in an exchange, the settlements are immediate. There is no reason after selling your tea at the exchange why a farmer cannot walk out with its payment in 24 hours. or an equivalent promissory note that he can walk into a bank and discount and get their payment. We should not even wait for a quarter to pay farmers quarterly if we have a tea exchange. That is what happens in developed markets. You have coffee exchanges, you have tea exchanges, you have other exchanges. The difference between the exchanges and the auctions is the period taken to do the settlements. And if we are truly serious that we want to help farmers get their payments on time, then we should think seriously of establishing a tea exchange and not a tea auction. Because a tea auction is then a gate that is being kept by brokers and various other interest groups. But an exchange is more transparent, where the tea factories would declare what they have to be sold for that day. It is tested, it is sold, settlements are done within 24 hours, and money distributed to the farmers. In other words, they'll be receiving their money daily. Because with modern technology, record keeping should not be difficult if you have a tea exchange. That, I think, is something we need to consider, but I support the initiative, and hopefully I will get one of my brothers who are very familiar with this business, and we work on an amendment. With those few remarks, I support, and I think the other members who would like to contribute. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Member for Laikipia East, Honorable Mwangi Kionjuri.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I also rise to support this amendment. Very important, timely, and also I'm happy because all of us are consumers of tea, at least most of us. And again, we pride ourselves as a country. A number of things, like when we say we are coffee farmers, we are tea farmers, flower farmers, and you also dominate the international market because of the value of our products. Madam Speaker, we really have discussed this issue for a very long time. I remember being Minister for Agriculture. Same issues that we are coming up, they are the same issues we are discussing today. And if you ask anybody, what is the problem with the tea farmer in Kenya? They will tell you it's about market, it's about management, and those are the two things. How do we market and about management? A lot of reforms have taken place, but the more we reform, the more we continue complaining. And Madam Speaker, I'm happy that this government has taken initiative to ensure at least they are supporting farmers in this country. Among the incentives that have been done, for example, the fertilizer and other subsidies, and also if you look at management, it's a lot of changes that have happened now, Madam Speaker. However, if you look at the complaints that we are having, are we asking ourselves, are we doing the right thing when it comes to public participation, enlightening our farmers? Like the debates that have been there, Madam Speaker, is about discrepancies on who was paid how much and which factory was paid better than the other one. Do we still have extension officers who should be able to go and train our farmers, not only value addition to the finished product, but how you even do the grading, so that our farmers are aware of the consequences. If they do not follow the right farming method, packing method, what will be the consequences? So that farmers will not just go to the farm, start packing their tea without knowledge of the consequences of the actions that you are doing in that farm. Two, this question of marketing. Why do we still market raw tea to the international market? Have we tried to encourage investors? Do we have the right atmosphere for investors to come to this country? Because what they are doing with our coffee, with our tea out there, or our coffee out there, can also be done in Kenya. If you look at the factors that are supporting production, factories, value addition, they are all here. There is nothing you can say that there is a mineral required somewhere so that we can be able to mix up this and this to get tea, proper tea, to get the market. So what are we doing to ensure that we encourage our competitors, the investors, to ensure that even if they are given a moratorium, to ensure they can recoup their investment, and we save our farmers from those other people who are already oppressing our farmers out there. If you look at the last 3 years, through coffee, tea, international market, we have been able to stabilize dollar, foreign exchange, and those economic benefits are spread across the country. Why don't we also have affirmative action to ensure that those farmers are also taken care because they take care of this country? When other countries were struggling on issues of dollar, this country was stabilized for the last 3 years. And we continue stabilizing our dollar, foreign exchange, through those products. Madam Speaker, if you ask yourself a question, why are they not paying promptly? And also monkey business here and there, whereby who benefits when farmers' money come to an account and that money is not paid in that days? Who are the beneficiaries? Why would you be, as a manager, be interested to keep farmers' money in the bank, and you know banks do overnight trading? Any 1 billion that hits an account to any bank in this country, that bank start earning interest on that money immediately. It is the same money that those banks use to lead government. Why would you give them capital to continue making money when our farmers are suffering? Those are simple questions. Who has interest? Who is the beneficiary when the farmer is not paid promptly? Who benefits? Those questions can easily be answered. But as usual, when you talk of corruption in this country, when you talk about management, who can pay their own way, those are the questions that we need to understand. Why don't we have a system that can pay promptly? We have been informed that coffee farmers are now enjoying their money in good time. What's the difference between that coffee farmer and a tea farmer? So, Madam Speaker, I think we should look a way forward, ensure that our farmers are properly supported, put the systems into place, let the county government work alongside with the national government so that our farmers are supported from growing of tea to the international market where they market their tea. With those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I support this amendment.
Very well. Member for Manyata, Honorable John Gitonga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also rise to support this bill. And Honorable Speaker, I come from a place where coffee is among the highest revenue earner for our people. In Embu, Honorable Speaker, we have close to 4 factories. We have Kadangarire factory, we have Rokorire and Mungania. Honorable Speaker, whenever bonus is around, even the wazes in the village do feel good. And Honorable Speaker, this bill that seeks to check on liberalization of the market is a bill, Honorable Speaker, that is going to help, especially on the whole fake issues that happen around the auction and KTDA. Honorable Speaker, direct sales will really help us to ensure that even our marketings are quicker and faster, and farmers, Honorable Speaker, will get their returns in record time. Kenya is among the leading exporters of tea, Honorable Speaker, with close to almost 400 to 500,000 metric tons of tea being sold every year. But, Honorable Speaker, while we are thinking about this, it's important, Honorable Speaker, we look at over-legislation of many sectors of our economy and the implementation of the bills and laws that we pass in this House. While we are supporting this bill, Honorable Speaker, it's good to also be private to the bonuses that came out. And Honorable Speaker, why I am supporting it is one reason that instead of the tea farmers waiting close to a year for them to get the bad news of a poorly priced bonus, Honorable Speaker, it is important that farmers, just like any businessman, to get a quick turnover of their hard-earned money, Honorable Speaker. That will make even their planning better, and it will make it easier for them to be able to run about their business. Honorable Speaker, I agree with many speakers that the next course of action must be pushing for value addition. And I'm happy that among the proposals is to have tea levy not being levied on value-added tea and packaged tea, Honorable Speaker. It is everybody's knowledge that the tea that we take in the US, in the UK, and those countries is actually Kenyan tea, only that it is actually mixed with other places without the same quality as ours. Honorable Speaker, what we call English tea is well-known Kenyan tea. And the value addition is where the farmer can earn top dollar. And I would propose a very elaborate campaign to ensure we start selling our tea that is well branded, well packaged, and that is going to take over the world. Everybody in the world knows Kenyan's tea is the best. I am aligning this, Honorable Speaker, with a bill that I've proposed in this House. I've proposed a bill called Local Produce Consumption Bill. It is a bill that is meant to entrench and ensure we promote what we produce, more than, Honorable Speaker, making sure that we don't have things that we are producing for ourselves and we are not promoting our own produce. Honorable Speaker, if we are able to actually do value addition, and many factories, especially from my area, have tried to package, but Honorable Speaker, they have not gotten to the standards where we can have their produce going global with the branding that they are doing. The government is where they're supposed to come in. The government must come in with very elaborate campaign to ensure they promote the branding of our produce in Kenya, Honorable Speaker. It is a shame also, Honorable Speaker, that 90% of our tea is for export. How do we depend on foreign entities for close to 100% of something that we produce as a country? Honorable Speaker, I would propose, and I have seen it being practiced in countries such as China, which is the biggest producer of tea. Whenever you sit down like this, Honorable Speaker, you are served a cup of tea. When you go to bed, you are served a cup of tea. In Kenya, we also have to push to ensure our local...
Order, Honorable Mukunji. You will have a balance of 3 minutes. Order, members. At the time being 7 p.m., this House stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 5th of November 2025 at 9:30 a.m.